What is the player going to do? That's one of the biggest questions in game design, because most players of games, and especially video games, play the game in order to do something. They don't like downtime when they're just sitting there and somebody else is doing something. Doing, of course, can include thinking and talking, not just physical actions, but once again, especially in video games, people don't perhaps want to think very often, at least in most video games. They want to do. So if you're designing a game, imagine in your mind's eye, in your imagination, what is happening in the game. What is the player doing? Is there any player doing anything? If not, there's a problem. If too many players are doing nothing too much of the time, there's a problem. If there's more than one player and one of them does a lot more than any of the others, there might be a problem. For example, in a one against many game, it might not be bad. It might be all right. In a cooperative game, it might be bad if one player dominates, because the other players won't enjoy it as much. They'll once again be more or less watching rather than doing. And of course, if what the player is doing is not enjoyable, then you've got a big problem. And perhaps worst of all, if the player is doing something, but it's hard to do for reasons other than gameplay, you've got a problem. For example, if the controller scheme is difficult to manipulate, or if the interface is confusing, and that can be true of a physical, tangible game, a tabletop game, as well as a video game. Or perhaps the player is forced to do math in his or her head. That is not something people enjoy nowadays. There's many reasons why players might not enjoy what they're doing that don't have anything to do with gameplay, and the more those you can eliminate, the better off you are. Always put yourself in the place of the player. Sometimes this is called player-centric design. The game is designed for the player, not for you. If the player doesn't enjoy it, you have failed.